All right, good evening. Welcome to the February 10th, 2025 meeting of the Marshfield Planning Board. The time is now 7:01 p.m. Tonight's meeting is being recorded by MCTV, and we are holding a live remote meeting via Zoom. Our members here tonight are Katie O'Donnell, Nick Papastratis, Fred Monaco, Kevin Cantwell is currently absent. I'm Mike Viviano, the chair. Also with us tonight is Scott DeCastro, our associate member. Also with us tonight is Greg Guimond, our town planner, and Karen Horn, our assistant town planner. At this time, I'll make a motion to open tonight's public meeting and waive the reading of the notice. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Nick?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, first thing on the meeting tonight. Do we have any minutes to do?
Yep, 1/13/25.
Okay, anyone have any issue with the meeting minutes? Seeing none, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of 1/13/25. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Nick?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, that passes 4-0. Next, Greg, discussion on the MBTA's communities submission for the special town meeting warrant.
So the select board is having a discussion and a vote tonight. I have a feeling that they will be voting not to put it on a special town meeting warrant. If they do that, I was asked, would the planning board and the town planner do that? I told them my recommendation to the planning board would be no. If the select board does not vote to do that, the planning board should not be moving forward on an article that our own select board is not supporting. So that's pretty much where we are at the moment. I don't know how they voted yet. They were supposed to have voted already, but they have not.
Okay, do we want to table it to see what they have to say, or are we gonna not move forward?
I think you guys could do a conditional vote. If they vote no, that you would not move forward on the article as well.
All right, we can give it a few minutes. It can be open. We can revisit it on the agenda.
Okay.
That's fine. All right, so we're gonna table that until we hear what the selectmen have voted. Next would be, well, it's not quite 7:05. Any board report at all? Staff report?
Yep, they have beach nourishment started today. I found out that the Duxbury Reservation Beach is also getting some dune nourishment, so we will have a lot of trucks on Caswell and Canal Street.
Hey, Muriel, can you please mute your phone? We keep hearing you.
We've been working on a staff level for the ADU bylaw, which we may have to put on town meeting. I have not heard back yet from Andrew. I've gotten comments from other people. We've had a meeting, one staff meeting with Mike Moresco and Mike Viviano and Brian Murphy, and then the rest staff people. So we did get some comments. I've made some changes on it, and we're waiting to hear back from Andrew. We may be putting that on the special town meeting. That has not opened yet, so we have one more board meeting. So we do have an opportunity, if it's needed, to get it on the warrant.
When's that next smaller group meeting?
It was supposed to be today.
Okay, didn't happen. That's why
it didn't happen.
Okay.
I guess they forgot to put it on the agenda, so they didn't put it, send out an advertisement or email to everybody.
Okay.
So I expect probably next Monday would be the next time we get to meet on that.
Okay.
And the last thing, we had some more interest in Forge Lane. We had an individual come in. Let me share the screen. Can you see the screen?
We can.
So we had an individual come in talking to staff, and has talked to the select board as well, not as a board, but as individuals. This is a 32 lot single-family proposal on the roughly 15 acres behind Forge Lane. The planning board would not have any say on this if this was to go forward. They're talking about doing it as a friendly 40B. Fortunately, we're at the 10% now, so for another 40B to come in, the select board would have to vote that it's a friendly 40B, and then it would go to the Board of Appeals. These are fairly small lots. We were not thrilled with the design, meaning on the staff level. We've expressed a lower in the density, and perhaps townhouses would be a better site, better for the site than individual house lots, etc. I have a feeling that the board will have it at one of their meetings for discussion before they would do anything. My recommendation for them would be to have 2 meetings prior to any kind of vote on a proposal like this. So I just wanted to let you guys know that was something going on.
So Greg, can you just clarify for me and for the public, we are at our threshold for 40Bs, so they're not necessarily pushed upon us at this time.
Right,
But if the selectmen think it's in the town's best interest, they could vote to allow to let this move forward.
correct.
Okay,
Could I ask a question on that?
sure, Dan, go ahead.
So I looked at this several years ago and designed a road to go in there. And the problem at the time was, first of all, at Forge Lane, it just comes out, I forget how many feet of frontage, but it didn't have enough frontage to make the radii at
Yeah, I remember that.
like the
Yep.
right-of-way radii. So that was one thing, but we figured maybe we can get a waiver. But the real problem that I had back then was that when you make this road go between the existing houses, one or both of the houses did not have the required 40-foot setback from what would then be a street. So does
Well, they
that,
would, they
Okay.
lose their conformity without a side lot line.
right,
Yeah.
right. So is that something that they could possibly get past because of the 40B scenario, or would that still be a stumbling block? Or do you even know?
That would be something that they could possibly get around with on a 40B proposal.
Right, but not with a standard
Not with
subdivision
Not
proposal.
with a standard subdivision. That's been the problem with the site, yes.
Right, okay, all right, thank you.
All right, Greg, is that it?
For board staff, yes.
Okay. We're gonna go to our first public hearing, so I'm gonna make a motion that we open our public hearing for the street improvement on Lynn Street and waive the reading of the notice. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Nick,
Nick Papastratus, aye.
Fred,
Fred Monaco, I.
did Kevin join us?
Don't see Kevin.
I
Okay.
don't see him. No.
Not a problem. Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, someone here, or is Greg doing this?
Dana's here.
Hello.
Oh, Dana's doing it. Okay, there you go. Dana,
Yep.
name, address, and let's see what you have.
Sure, Dana Jr., 26 Idaho Street, Marshfield. And what I have before you is a proposed street improvement in the Silver Pines area. This is located, it's for the benefit of, you can see on the plan, G12 1712, I believe it is. It's a 5,000 square foot grandfathered lot that I have already perked and put in a septic plan for approval at the Board of Health. That has been reviewed and approved. Well, not approved, but he said it should be fine, subject to the board voting on it. This is in a zone of aquifer protection zone district. So you need 10,000 square feet of land in order to build every bedroom that you're going to build. So if I want to do a 3-bedroom house, so I have to have 30,000 square feet of land. However, the lot itself, the subject lot, only has 5,000 square feet of land. So what's allowed in Title V is to have what's called makeup land, Is everyone familiar with that?
I'm familiar with it. You can maybe explain.
Okay, all right. So in any case, I have to have 25,000 square feet of makeup land in this same zone that doesn't have to be necessarily contiguous with the subject lot land. So I have that, I've proven that for the Board of Health. So that's how I make this a buildable lot for Board of Health purposes. There's really no conservation involved in any of the road improvement or the lot itself. So that's how I passed muster with the Board of Health. And again, I've passed muster already with Town Council saying that it's a grandfathered lot or a residential lot of record. So that's already been approved. So that brings me to the street improvement that would be required in order to get a building permit for a 3-bedroom new construction house. So off of Ferry Street is Waltham Street. Waltham Street is a paved, a portion of which is paved already, all the way up through the intersection of California Street. So what I want to do, what I'm proposing is to pick up the pavement where it stops. It right there, it turns into a dirt road up Essex Street, which bears to the left. And then the second left is Lynn Street. Right now, all that road exists, but it's a dirt right of way, and it has water in it, and it has houses on it all the way past my lot already. So what I would be proposing to do is add catch basins and drainage pipe and manholes in Essex Street, really starting at the junction of Lynn Street, traveling down Essex, and then another set of catch basins and a manhole, and then continue 12-inch RCP pipe all the way down to almost California Street. Yeah, we're going the other way, yeah. Where the pavement ends now. And in that intersection are apparently leaching catch basins already that I think the Clancy's put in some years ago when they did a street improvement for a house right there next door. So as we go up Essex, I'll be paving all that 18 feet wide plus 1-foot Cape Cod berms on each side, along with the drainage that I just explained. And that would be essentially the improvement along Essex. Turning on to Lynn Street, again, I'd have a set of catch basins right there that feed down to the California Street intersection, all the way down there. And I'll be paving Lynn Street from Essex about 360 feet down through the frontage of my lot, which is a 50-foot frontage. My lot's 50 by 100. So I would stop the pavement in front of my lot at the far lot line of my lot. At which point there would be 2 catch basins that dump into leaching galleys on the side of the road. And that's how I take care of the drainage that I've created from paving Essex and Lynn Street. I've also proposed from the intersection of Essex Street, where there is a 6-inch AC line, water line already. So there's a 6-inch AC line, water line in Essex Street already. And off of that comes a 2-inch line now that I want to change to a 6-inch ductile iron water main off of Essex and all the way down through the frontage of my lot. I believe I'll be passing 2 existing houses along the way, and I'll be plugging their 1-inch or 3/4-inch services, whatever they have now. I'll be taking it out of the existing 2-inch water main and plugging it into the new 6-inch water main. So those two houses will have a new service off of the 6-inch new main. Obviously, I'll be doing the same thing for the subject lot for a water line to the new house. The grades along all this really don't change very much at all. They're all within a few inches. So I'm just going to follow the existing dirt grades now. You can see that it's a maximum of 7% existing already. So I'm just, there shouldn't be a whole lot of grading. There shouldn't be slopes on each side of the pavement, anything significant. I mean, everything would be less than a foot. So nothing big up or nothing big down off of the side of the road. There's very minimal trees to be cut along this way. I think there's maybe 3 or so in Lynn Street, but there's really not a whole lot of tree cutting along with the grading.
Dana, can I interrupt you real quick? I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah.
So if anyone from the public is here for the Marshfield Hills Estate, that's actually going to be continued until March 10th. I just didn't want anybody waiting around. And I forgot to announce it before we started this hearing. So I'll let Dana continue. And Dana, do you have Pat Brennan's letter as well?
Yeah, so he, I passed this in and he reviewed it and he had, I believe, 8 comments at the time. I have already addressed those comments and I think he issued another letter today saying essentially all 8 of those comments have been addressed. There was two of the comments I couldn't fully address. One was I need an engineer's stamp on this. Now I had an engineer's stamp on what he was reviewing, but because of I did the revised plan, and then his name's Jed Hannon, who did the PE stamp in the beginning. He hasn't been around. He got back today, and then he couldn't get time to put a stamp on this for a PE stamp today. But I can have that for you certainly for the next meeting or subsequent after this. What you see on the plan is a survey stamp, and that was one of the comments that was required by Pat upon his first review. So really, as of this updated plan, I need to get a PE stamp on it in order to suffice all of his comments. Another comment that he had was I might want to check in with the water department to see if they want a hydrant at the end of the street improvement in front of my lot, or more or less in front of my lot. I did ask for the water department's comments some time ago. I just saw just today a comment from them saying everything looks good, but we would like a hydrant at the end, and they will provide the hydrant materials for me if I will put it together, which I will. So I can show that on the plan if you like. And then I saw, I'm kind of addressing everything at once here, I think, but I also saw Charlie Swanson's comments, and I had gone to him prior to submitting this, and I incorporated some of the verbal comments that he had as of our meeting way back a couple months ago. But the additional comments he had that I saw today have to do with the existing drainage at the intersection of Waltham and California. So from what he said, he said there are, and I've seen them, there are multiple leaching catch basins there and a manhole already existing at the end of the previous street improvement where I'm starting. And what he said was, he suggests that the contractor, I look at the infrastructure, the drainage infrastructure in that intersection, because he says it's been overwhelmed before. And he thinks it might be clogged up, and I know it's clogged up. I've looked in them, and there've been sediment coming down Essex into that intersection and filling up the drainage structures in that intersection. So I could propose to check those and clean out whatever needs to be cleaned out as far as manholes and catch basins that are existing now. in order so that when I plug into it, it doesn't overwhelm the system in that intersection. So with that, I think what I need to do is 3 things. I need to put the PE stamp on it. I need to make a note saying I'll check those, the drainage in that intersection and clean it out if necessary. And I will add the hydrant for the 6-inch water main at the end of the street improvement with the DPW's or the water department's materials.
Okay, why don't we go over to Pat? And Pat, do you agree? Did he sum things up pretty well? Or we have other
Yeah, I believe he did. The one other comment that we saw today, I talked with Gary Russell. I believe Gary talked with Dana as well. The leaching galleys out in front of the lot, he may need to change those to a different type of structure, something a little less deep, based on the required setbacks for the septic system on that lot. It was something that Gary at the Board of Health picked up on that I'm sure Dana will take care of, but that was the only other outstanding issue.
Yes, I did talk to him and came up with just what you said. I need to change the structures from 4 feet deep to maybe 2 or 3 feet deep in order so that the bottom of those structures are above the groundwater table. I also need to move it probably to the other side of the street in order to get 25 feet away from the septic system that I've proposed on this subject lot. But I don't see a problem with either one of those things. Yeah.
All right, all set with that, Pat?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Greg Guimond?
The one other thing, Charlie had come in and he had sent the memo, which Pat and Dana had talked about. But when I was discussing it with Charlie, the one other thing he had suggested was perhaps at Lawrence Road, where there are some catch basins that are going to be tied in, and that water would go directly into that other intersection. That perhaps some more leaching galleys would be put in here to intercept some of the water so it doesn't overwhelm California Street and Waltham Ave.
Okay, may I comment on that?
Sure, go ahead, Dana.
So that was, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, is that he came in and spoke with you about that potentially that might happen or that might need to happen. And
Right.
then
That was before he sent the email.
right. So all I saw in writing, it didn't mention anything about that. It just mentioned all about what I talked about down at the intersection. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, did he have all the HydroCAD and all the drainage calcs and all that before he made that verbal comment? Because it makes me think he didn't put it in his written comments because I think he might have seen the drainage calcs and then let that go and then just focused on.
He
cleaning
hadn't
out.
seen the drainage calcs yet.
Right, he hadn't seen them yet at the time. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not necessarily going to propose a change to add leaching galleys at that Lawrence Road intersection. I'm gonna go down to the intersection down below and check those drainage structures and make sure that they're clean. Does that sound right?
But you may need to put some additional, depending on the conditions of the ones down at California. So
Oh, I see. Right, okay. Right,
you
so
may
we can
be able
look
to
at,
fix it there, but in case you don't, that's kind of where Charlie was leading to me as, here's one
Right.
way we could address it. So
okay, all right.
that's
that
not
way-
locked in. That was just so everybody knows.
Okay, and then one other comment that I think I saw on he asked a question at the end of his comments. What about the stone walls and I think maybe shrubbery or something that were in the right of way at the end of some of these people's driveways, in particular the Lawrence Road address? I think they have, it shows on the plan, I believe. Yeah, right there. It shows that they have stone walls on each side of their driveway with kind of pillars at the end that I would have to get into those. It looks like they protrude right into almost to the middle of the street. So I just wanted to call that out to say I'm gonna have to mess with someone's structures that are in the right of way in order to get this done.
I'm guessing they might be here, Dana, and we might get to them in a minute.
Okay.
It's stone walls and some fencing.
Right, yeah, yep.
That's it for me, Mike.
Greg, and I guess Dana, what's proposed for a turnaround at the lot itself? How are we turning around the fire trucks?
I hadn't even really addressed that. I think there's more houses, or at least one more house further down. If you continue down Lynn Street, I think there's a turnaround down there, and it doesn't show on this plan, but I think that's how they do it now. So I just figured leave it alone and have them turn around the same way that they do for that house down there.
So Dana, if you move your leaching basins to the other side of the street, you probably could take care of the turnaround on your property.
Well, yeah, it could be, yeah, because I have to I'm planning on putting a two-car garage, not a garage, a two-car driveway onto my lot anyway. So that could be, that could possibly suffice as a turnaround anyway.
Yeah, so I think that should be shown on there if you can get that on the next plan.
Sure.
And if maybe I'll take a drive up to just see what the turnaround looks like at the end of that road.
Yeah, if you go just past, I think there's a kind of a big turnaround, not big, but there's another turnaround there.
Greg, is it customary for us to run this by the fire department to see what they have
We
comments on?
haven't gotten any comments yet from the fire department.
Okay.
I sent another email out to them.
Okay, so maybe we'll get something back, and Danny, you could update the plan, and if they have issue with the way it is, at least you'll have something else showing with that hammerhead going there.
Hi,
Right.
excuse me, I just want to say something quickly. So my name,
Jessica, hang on one second.
sure.
Yeah, we go to the board next.
And you got PR with a hand up too.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to the public. Everyone will be heard. Next, I'm going to go to the board. Is there any current questions for this plan or suggestions? All right. Seeing none, I will go to the public. So if you could either raise your hand or hit the little hand button, I can call you. Let's see, I got up here, I got PR. Give her name, address, please, and
Kathy LeGros, 11 Lawrence Road, and I have to do with the stone walls. Those are actually on Essex Street, not on Lawrence Road. But I just want to know how the drainage is going to work at the intersection of Essex and Lawrence Road. Because I am concerned that once they pave that the water's just going to come down this road. Thank you.
we'll
Oh, I
have Greg
see.
pull it up.
In other words, CB1 and CB2 are kind of in the middle of the intersection of Lawrence Road. Right there, yeah. So good question. What I'm gonna have to do is start and stop the berm for at least 20 feet wide so that people can go in and out of that without a bump. And then I can do a gravel transition up there. See, I did a gravel transition right there. Yes, right there at the end of the street improvement for Essex, and also where it forks up at Waltham and Essex, kind of there, yeah. So I can do the same thing at Lawrence. And again, I would have to interrupt the 1 foot Cape Cod berm in that area.
Is that also where the stone wall is you were talking about?
No, I think the stone walls are a little bit further up. You can
Right
see
here.
it says pave a little bit. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Right in
Right
here.
So PR, is that your property with the stone walls?
No,
Oh, as I said, the stone walls are Essex Streets. It's 11 Essex Street
Correct.
has a stone wall. I'm at 11 Lawrence.
Okay,
So I have nothing to do with the stone wall. I'm concerned with getting into Lawrence Road after this is done. And, you know, the gravel would certainly work because, you know, otherwise we're going to have a bump. But I'm also concerned with drainage as far as water, you know, coming into Lawrence Road because the system gets overwhelmed.
Okay, so Dana, you're gonna show the new gravel there and talk to your engineer about making sure there's no extra runoff getting out of there.
Right,
Okay.
correct. Yep.
All right, PR, is there another question? Because we're gonna have another plan come up about this.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Because we have no other access other than Lawrence Road, are we going to, I mean, how long is this going to, we're gonna have to get in and out of our house, so how are we going, our road, how are we gonna address that?
Dana, will you have police details during construction?
Yes, I'll have police details and I'll always maintain at least one lane open anyway for any emergency vehicles or neighborhood traffic. I don't imagine there's a whole lot of traffic up there anyway, but certainly people are going to need to get through as we're doing this. So I don't anticipate you know, tearing up and putting in, say, CB1 and the manhole and CB2 all at the same time, because no one's going to be able to get through. So I would do one or two of those structures, keep one lane open, then fill them in, and then do the other structure on the other side of the street.
All right, there is only one lane up here.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to have to widen everything a little bit also. So, so the brush and the trees will be pushed back on the sides a little bit, so that it'll make more room in order for me to do my work on one side and then keep the other side open. I know it doesn't look it now, and it's not like that now, but I'm gonna have to make it so during construction. And then afterwards, again, it'll be 2 lanes once I'm done.
All right, thank you.
Certainly,
Okay.
thank you.
Next, I saw Jessica. If you would name and address, please.
Jessica Breen, 39 Lynn Street. So we're the house that is right past the proposed property. First comment is, yes, there is a T at the end of our property, but it is not accessible. It is not something that is usable by the fire department. We have actually had them down here and they had to back down the street.
Yeah, we're gonna go down and just check that out. I agree with you. I don't think there's much down there, and
Yeah, and it's a hill. It's definitely not feasible.
yeah, we've asked the applicant to put some kind of hammerhead in on the lot so they would be able to turn around there if necessary.
Well, that's my other concern is the size of the lot, how they would be able to do that, because it is, you know, again, it's a small lot. We are the abutters on both sides of this. And so my other concern is putting in the drainage. How is that, or what is that impact going to be for the other lots? I don't want to see any sort of detriment or anything happening to our lots as a result of the oversized septic being put on this lot, because again, I understand the land swap. However, a 3-bedroom or 3-bathroom septic on that lot, it does seem excessive. And what's it going to do to undermine the land around it?
So the lot itself under zoning is under a residential lot of record. So they have rights to build on that small lot, which doesn't conform to our current zoning. So there's nothing we can do about that. He's just grandfathered in for that lot. On the second part of it, Board of Health has provisions because they need to have some provisions to allow these to have septic of that land swap. So everything he's proposing is totally above board here.
Okay, well, we'll be speaking to the Board of Health in regards to that as well.
Yeah, he's gonna have to have an application and a hearing there. You haven't had that yet, Dan, have you?
No, I put my application in. It's been reviewed. They asked for more documentation. I gave them all that. With all that, it's ready to go to a meeting for them, but I don't have a date for a meeting.
Okay, so Jessica, you'll be able to attend that meeting as well in regards to that.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Kylie, is it? Name and address, please.
This is actually Mike Carlson at 12 Lynn Street.
Okay, hey.
Dana, how you doing, man? I know your dad, and I know everything going on. I'm just curious as to how, I've been up here for 35, 37 years. I work with the town of Hingham, and now all of a sudden they've got frontage here in the front of this property to put up a house, which for 37 years, they never had the frontage for this. My second question is
Let's do
how
one,
long,
wait, hang on a second, one at a time, so we get things answered.
okay,
But they don't currently have any frontage. He's creating frontage.
they're creating frontage. Okay, so my second question is, how when you guys went about Lawrence Street, the tear down on that house, and it was supposed to be a buildup of the same structure of that house, but that was built into like double the size of the house there with the garage and everything, and that was supposed to be paved up to if they did anything. I know, Mike Clancy was trying to get up in the back of Biagini's pits years ago, which we fought against, to put in a subdivision for 36 houses up here, which they have to go to pave the roads to get to, and that was going to affect our watershed area, which everybody's fought against all our lives, and now all of a sudden everybody's creeping up here.
So if you're talking about a previous house, it's a little outside the scope of this, but to let you know, that falls under something different, because there's already a house there. So they have a
Yeah,
right.
but it's
they
supposed to
have
be
a
the
right to
same
make that.
structure. It was supposed to be,
I can't go any further than that, that it falls under something.
okay, so
completely
somebody's
different.
paying somebody off.
So it's completely different than road improvement. Any other questions?
Not right now.
Okay, thank you. So anyone else from the public here for this? Okay, seeing none, looks like we have to continue, Dana, so you can get the plan changed a bit, show all those other details.
Sure.
Maybe at the next meeting, we can get it moved forward, one way or
March
another. So,
24th, February 24th is the next planning board meeting.
2/24. Okay, anything else from the board members right now? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna make a motion that we continue this public hearing until February 24th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second, Fred Monaco.
Thank you. Katie?
You're muted, Katie.
Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Thank you, Katie. Nick?
Nick Papastratus, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, I.
Thank you. Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, so that is continued until February 24th, 2025. We'll start
Question.
at 7:05. We'll see everyone back then.
All right, question for you.
Sure.
In the beginning, you had mentioned the March 10th date. Is that for something else or is that for me?
Oh, do you want to push it back further?
No, I'd rather have it sooner. So February 24th is great. But you had mentioned something about March 10th, but does that have to do with me or no?
No.
No. Okay. So February 24th it is.
See you then.
I'll have a plan into you and thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Greg, have we heard anything back from the selectmen?
No, I'll go check.
Okay, give Greg a minute.
Well, I guess while he does that, I'll just apologize. My computer during our last meeting, my trackpad died, so I have to have it fixed, but I'm just on my phone, which is hence my issues finding the buttons. So my apologies.
Mark's okay. Are you feeling better?
Oh no, I've got the creeping crud, which I think anybody who is around children has right now.
Well, I hope
Who
you
knows
get
what
better
it
soon.
is at this point? Uh,
Mike?
No.
They just voted no.
Okay, great. We can have very little discussion then. We'll just have, unless any of the other board members like to discuss it, we can have no discussion. Okay. Craig, do you have anything to say besides no?
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay. I think does that wrap us up? I don't have the agenda up. We all set? Greg?
What?
Is there anything else on the agenda? I just can't pull it up right now.
No.
Okay, then I'll, anything else from the board members, or I'll make a motion to adjourn?
Not from
Okay.
me.
Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell, aye.
Thank you, Nick.
Nick Papastratus, aye.
Thank you, Fred.
Fred Monaco, I.
And Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, thank you, everyone.